So, okay. Welcome to the first ever episode of the Fighting with Friends podcast with our first ever guest. We've got Dr. Sarah Brookes with us. We had to up the ante and start fighting with somebody who has a piece of paper to prove that they're significantly smarter than we are. So I've been saving so many questions for this exact episode because I've been so excited about finally having a guest. So
I'm excited.
Maddie knows about. You've seen most of these, Maddie, right?
Mm-hmm, yes.
And these are a surprise to you, so it should be fun. I have them all in the little Google Doc on my phone. So I gotta pull those up. Alright, here we go. First one. No, I do not want to rate docs right now. I want to use it. Are coconuts technically mammals?
Oh my goodness.
Has hair, produces milk.
Okay, I was gonna say, what are the criteria on which you are basing this?
Discuss.
No. I mean, aren't whales mammals? And they don't have hair? And I don't know
Whales
about
do have hair.
in their mouths. Like, is that hair?
No, that's baleen, but whales have like very fine. You can clearly see who has the PhD and who doesn't. Not to bully you, Maddie. Love you.
I don't know. I thought it was some sort of like hay in their
but
mouth.
I don't know perfectly either. I am not a whale expert. I'm just a person who likes whales a lot. I think they have some kind of like really fine hair just like on their bodies, so they do count as a mammal. I know that for a fact. They definitely count as a mammal. If we really want to get into why, I can Google it.
I thought the criteria for being a mammal was like their blood, like warm-blooded. No.
Isn't that part of it?
I don't know. Hold on. Now, we'll Google it anyway. What defines a mammal? Aren't you supposed to learn this in like third grade or something?
I definitely learned it.
Why do we have to Google this now?
I've learned it probably on like different occasions and forgot it 5 different times.
Okay, mammal characteristics. What do we got? Mammals have hair or fur, are warm-blooded, most are born alive, so things like platypus, and then produce milk. So no, a coconut's not a mammal. Damn it!
Well, that was easy.
It was easy, but I was really hoping that one would spark some controversy, but I was proven wrong.
Warm-blooded. It's almost a mammal, kind of.
Yeah, kind of. It's one again. So I guess since you can prove it wrong so quickly, it's like one of those Twitter hot takes that you just drop in your feed to watch everyone like lose their minds by like coming to that realization, and then you get to like scroll through it later and be entertained by everyone freaking out.
Coconuts do migrate. I don't know how that's that fits.
Okay, no, but like actually, they're like some species of coconut have literally just like floated across the ocean to islands and taken root.
Well, wow. I was trying to make a Monty Python reference.
No, I know. I remember seeing a post with that, and then the first comment was, "Are you suggesting coconuts migrate?" And in this case, yes, they do. Apparently. And I will see if I can uncover that post and link it in the description for anyone who wants proof and wants to know that I'm not just making this up. Alright, well, we got through the first one pretty fast, but it's okay. I've been saving most of our best questions. How many holes are in a straw?
1.
I'd also say 1.
I think it's 2.
Why?
It's 1 at either end.
But they're connected.
But then how do you know it's not infinite holes on top of each other?
It can't be infinite. It's finite, clearly.
It's an infinite number of flat, plain holes stacked on top of each other. That's what forms a straw.
But what if, like, you can see through it?
I say it's 2.
2?
It's 2.
Depending on the angle.
There are 2 holes in a straw. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
But I feel like that goes against the argument you just made about the infinite holes. Would your answer be infinite holes?
My answer is 2 holes. I have seen someone try to make the argument that a straw, or that it's like only in the, like, plane of length or something, or, like, only in the completely flat, like, no height whatsoever, that it could technically be infinite holes stacked on top of each other. I have seen that argument made, and that's another thing I will have to link in the description. And I really need to start writing down what I'm going to link in the description, because it always winds up being so many more things than I initially intend. But no, my answer is there are 2 holes in a straw.
I feel like our descriptions get like, all right, here's where we got everything from.
Yeah, literally. Every time we have an episode, it's like there's more.
I'd say 1 hole.
2.
2?
Okay,
what if, like, don't they make, like, straws that, like, I don't know, let's say you're sharing a milkshake. Like, do they make straws that have, like, 2 spouts? Is that a thing? Or is that just 2 separate straws?
I feel like it's usually 2 separate straws, but if you were to do that, then there would be 3.
I would say 2.
No.
Yeah, I feel
no.
like...
You could not say 2, because there's 1.
Oh, I very much could.
So if it's like a straw that's a Y, there's one on one end of the Y, there's one on the other side of the Y, and there's one on the bottom. There's 3 holes in a straw like that.
No, there's being like, this would be one, and then when the branches off is another.
No. Nope. No.
Yep. I very firmly believe this for no reason, and it's of no consequence, but I very firmly believe it as of approximately 10 seconds ago.
Good to see conviction.
I'm with you on that. I think it would also be 2. Because it wouldn't be 3. It's connected.
Okay, well, have fun being wrong together. Alright, I guess we can just... Oh, I've been excited for this one. I've been saving... This has been... The entire reason I wanted to invite you was so we could do an episode with this question specifically. Is Adam Driver hot? Yes.
Hesitation.
The answer is yes. Maddie?
All right, well, there are things I can appreciate.
Okay.
And this is just, like, for me, like, everyone has their own taste. I think he is attractive in the sense of, like, unique. And I feel like unique is also not a nice term, because when someone says, like, oh, they're so unique, like, that usually doesn't mean a good thing. But there are qualities I appreciate, but overall, I wouldn't use that word to describe him.
Okay.
I think it depends on what you find hot, right? Because, like, the word I was thinking about, he was, like, distinctive. He has a distinctive look, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And some people really like that. And if you do, then yeah, he would be considered hot. He's also a good actor.
Okay, that's kind of my thing.
So...
One of the reasons that I saw something somewhere. It was like, to be hot, Adam Driver's proof that to be hot, you have to be a little bit ugly. And nothing has ever spoken to me more. Because you know he's not coasting through life on his looks. You know he actually has to have, like, a personality. Not saying that, like, someone like Chris Hemsworth doesn't. He seems like a lovely dude, but, like, that man could get through life on looks alone.
I think he definitely, like Adam Driver does not have, like, commercial beauty is what we see, and, like, the American standard of, like, what is beautiful, perhaps. I do agree that he's a good actor, and I think that's also why some people, especially when watching different roles he's taking on, they find him attractive, like, because they relate with him. I feel like that also plays into it.
I will
allow it. I think his height, too, right? Isn't he, like, super tall?
Oh, he's mad tall. He's, like, ridiculously tall.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, too, the reason people like him.
Which I'm very much not mad at. But also, if you like him for Kylo Ren and Kylo Ren alone, please seek therapy. Because I'm concerned.
I don't know. Arguably, his portrayal of Kylo Ren was kind of hot.
Okay, I'll hear the arguments for this. I'll hear the argument. I'm saying if you find Kylo Ren, period, not even Adam Driver, that attractive, please seek help.
No, I find that, like, that sort of internal struggle of morality.
Okay.
Kind of seeing that vulnerability and...
Okay, and this is also speaking as a person who hasn't seen the last Star Wars, 1 out of laziness, and 2 because if I don't watch it, then Star Wars technically isn't over.
You can't end it if you don't watch them all.
Yeah, but interesting argument. I like it. I can see it. I feel like a lot of people like Kylo Ren specifically just because, I don't know, there's kind of a gross thing to it, almost. Like, not liking it for, like, oh, it's a complex character, but liking it because he's, like, a greasy, emo, sad boy. That's a way I've heard it described.
Greasy, emo, sad boy.
So, I don't know. I was thinking this one would cause more controversy, just based on your reactions when I've mentioned Adam Driver before.
Yeah, I like, if I'm talking me personally, no, I think he is a weird looking dude, and it's not my thing.
Fair enough.
So there's the controversy for you.
I've been frequently bullied for liking what people call lizard men, which is basically just weird looking white guys. So, can't say this is new for me. What was that?
So is that why you like reptiles?
God, I hope those two things aren't connected.
Oh my god.
Because it'd be real weird if they are.
Bridget has a type.
Yeah, like we didn't already know that.
Lizard men and snakes.
Not a terrible combination. Okay, so this one I'm going to have to edit to show on the screen somewhere because it's a picture of a tweet. And the question in the tweet is what we will now be arguing about, if I can get this link to open, because the Drive app is not cooperating.
Is it asking you to rate Twitter this time?
No. Okay. This is a tweet from Cancela Lansbury. Fantastic name. Here it is. Your fiance gets kidnapped in a foreign country. You stay out till 2 a.m. searching with authorities, but eventually you have to call it and return to your hotel. Do you still do your skincare routine, yes or no? What do we think?
Hard one.
I mean, yeah, at some point I gotta take care of me too.
I can see reasons for doing it and reasons for not doing it.
Yeah.
I feel like it could be a distraction. Like, all right, like let me put 5 minutes or 30 minutes aside, however long your skincare routine takes. Like, let me just take care of this, and then I can focus on the other person.
Yeah, on the problem. That was my thing. I was like, I could see how like doing something out of your normal routine would be like a thing you can control. So you would do it, but also, what? Why would you do that?
I feel like it's not even just about the normalcy or anything like that. It's like, what else do you do?
Yeah, okay.
You know?
I didn't even think about that.
You just, like, what are you going to do? Just sit there and stare at the door and hope they walk through the door? Right? Yeah. You got to do something to fill the time. And
unless you're like actively looking or actively doing something to help find this person, at some point you are going to go about your business.
Yeah.
I could see a reason for not doing your skincare routine though. If like you're so distraught over this, like maybe you can't function and you really can't do anything for yourself that you normally would.
Yeah, I don't know. I can see it going both ways, but now I'm kind of interested. What else would you do if you're not doing your skincare routine and you just go home at 2 a.m. after searching and like you had to call it? What else do you do? I would assume you're probably not going to be able to sleep.
Yeah.
So what else happens?
I don't know. I feel like this is a situational type case. Like, depends on the person.
Yeah.
Depends on the person who's missing.
I would also argue that maybe you want to do the skincare routine or anything normal because you're trying to convince yourself that it's not that bad. Like, they're fine. They're going to come through the door. It's like not a big deal. I'll just go about my normal.
Okay, that's an angle I hadn't considered.
Yeah, convincing yourself, because I could see myself doing that. Like, no, it's fine. Just be normal.
Everything's great.
Yeah.
Me functioning on a day-to-day basis.
This is fine.
names.
Dog with a cup of coffee. Nothing has more accurately captured the state of the world than that dog. Like, ever.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Unless we have any more things to say about things you could possibly do after calling off the search for your fiancé in a foreign country, we can move on to our next topic.
I would probably just spend my evening calling people and waking them up to emote at them.
Yeah, okay, that sounds appropriate. I feel like drinking also might be a move.
Drinking? Okay.
But I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Binge watching The Great British Baking Show?
Okay, that I cannot see happening.
I feel like I might turn to crime shows to see if, like, all right, like, let's see if I could figure this out on my own. Like,
okay.
What am I missing?
Yeah, no, I don't think I could do Bake Off because I'd have too much adrenaline to sit down and listen to Paul Hollywood.
Okay, then go online and read crime statistics. See what the likelihood of
just freak myself out more.
Is. Yeah.
Although I do that about everything on a day-to-day basis, just like freak myself out more, so I can't say that would be a particularly like exceptional circumstance for me. But I don't know. Yeah, there's a fun thing everyone can comment. What do you do? In this hypothetical, do you do your skincare routine? And if you don't, what are you doing? Okay.
I think the answer is yes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. Although I can't say I have
agree.
A particularly like intense skincare routine. It's pretty minimal. I don't mess with it a lot.
Yeah, mine's pretty basic as well. I'd still do my skincare routine. You know, all the basics.
I like it. All right. Okay, here's what I came up with that I'm actually kind of proud of. Here's what we got. Theoretically, do you think it would be possible for somebody to like learn a trade in reverse? And here's what I mean. So like the average person, like you can fix, like, you know, you can Google like maybe how to fix something in your car yourself, and you don't have to understand like exactly how every single part of the car works in order to do that. So what I was thinking was, okay, what if you first teach someone like, okay, like, you know, here are some basic problems like with a car that can happen. Here's how you fix them. You don't need to understand exactly why these things happen yet. You just need to know that this is what you do to fix them. And then you go backwards from there. Like, this is why this thing breaks down sometimes. And so on and so forth. Until they understand absolutely everything. Having started with, like, something that, like, you know, rather than, like, learning every part of the car first, just learning, this is a problem you're going to see, this is how you fix it, don't ask why, but then going backwards.
So, like, reverse engineering
Yeah, like,
everything?
reverse engineering, like, learning some sort of, like, craft or trade.
I feel like that's how people may become interested in something, like, people who like to work on cars, maybe it started because they had an issue with their car and they're the type that want to figure it out, and then and then they wanted to, like, you know, keep messing with things and see how can I improve this, and they just like teach themselves. I could see that being plausible.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like not with everything, probably not like, you know, physics or whatever. Like you need to understand some things there before you move on to other things. But I feel like with a lot of practical real world applications, it's possible to work backwards. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like something that people do kind of frequently, I would think. Right? If I'm understanding it correctly, because I feel like I've done that myself a bunch of times where it's like, even with cars specifically, I've tried to fix random things on cars and I have no idea how cars work.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, I'll Google something, watch a YouTube video, and I will figure this out. It's like you slowly start to piece together an understanding.
Yeah, because there's so many things you can, like, there's a lot of things you can, like, fix or do or, like, you know, even, like, build something without having to have, like, any kind of advanced knowledge of whatever, be it, like, mechanics or, like, carpentry or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I just thought that was something interesting. It's like, what if you just worked backwards until you understood everything about it? I feel like that in some circumstances would be possible.
Yeah, I feel like that definitely applies to like fixing things, like stuff around the house, or I don't know, even like plumbing or something. Just because if you have an issue, you can Google or ask someone, how do I fix this? And then therefore you're teaching yourself. And if you take an interest in it, or, you know, other things go wrong in your house, and you eventually fix those too, you build up this knowledge of knowing how to fix things, and therefore you could understand how they then work together.
Okay, yeah. I say solid analysis. We got any other comments on this before we jump to the next question, which is the last one that I have slated, but after that we can just go through some of the like random unassigned questions or come up with stuff off the top of our heads. We'll see what happens. We like to improvise here quite a bit, seeing how often we have to like stop the conversation and track exactly how we got there. I think that happens maybe once per episode.
Yeah, how'd we get here? Yeah, I'd say, like, before we move on, if you move into a house, for example, that needs a lot of work and you want to take it upon yourself to do it all yourself, then you might come out learning a new trade.
Yeah, maybe.
Perhaps.
If you have to Google enough things. Okay. Next one. What does next week mean? The coming week or the one after? Because I hear people use it both ways, and it confuses me greatly. Because when someone says next week, I assume that it's the one that is coming at us.
Didn't we just argue about this a few days ago?
Yeah, it inspired me.
Well, I feel like you gotta take into account the word this, like this week.
Yeah.
Because I would say then, like, the week we are experiencing right now, that's this week. And then next week would be the next coming week. But what are you saying?
No, here's the thing. I agree with you, but this happened to me. I got an email. It was like, because I had applied for a job, and they were like, okay, next week, this was on like a Thursday, and the email said, next week, we're going to send you this other email, and like you respond to it to like, you know, confirm that you're going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And it was supposed to be on a Monday that the email was going to be in my inbox. I opened my inbox that Monday, and there was nothing. And I'm like, okay, so, you know, it's morning, I'll wait, whatever. It was the week after, the next Monday, that I got the email in my inbox. I was like, so why did you say next week? You sent this on a Thursday. Mm-hmm. The weekend happened, and then it was next week.
I feel
it bothered me so much.
Maybe because I feel like it can become confusing when people use like next on a weekend, because all right,
that I get.
Do you mean like, do you mean next as in the week starts on like, I don't know, Sunday, Monday, whatever you want to call it, that being next, or have we jumped into this yet?
Yeah, I feel like it depends on where, like, some people, like, even, like, different calendars, or, like, if you buy a planner, sometimes it starts on Sunday, sometimes it starts on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a good one. Ladies, where do we think the week actually begins? Sunday or Monday?
Sunday.
I'd say
Monday.
Sunday. No, it's Sunday.
Absolutely not.
That's when it starts.
No!
Just because work and school start on Monday doesn't mean that's when the weekend
when you
or the
buy
week starts.
A planner, most of the time,
it says Sunday.
No, it does not.
Yeah, what planners are you?
Mine. Hold on.
You can't use anecdotal evidence.
I mean, I could find a planner if you want to.
Yeah.
I'll start on Sunday.
I got a calendar right here. Starts on Sunday.
Monday.
Unconvincing.
But that's like when everything starts. Like everyone can. How does everyone not consider the start of the week to be Monday?
It's when the weekdays start.
Yeah. Start of the work week or the school week.
Mm-hmm.
That's not start of the week.
Well, that's dumb.
That's just how it works. I didn't make up the calendar.
I do not agree. Nor do I like
What
it.
I find more confusing than saying next week is when somebody just says, like, you know, Thursday, like, we'll do this thing Thursday, and it's a Tuesday or something, and you don't know if they mean,
I'm like, which one?
Because it feels like the one 2 days later is, like, too soon.
Right?
But then you would think they would say next Thursday, but then that would mean, like, 9 days and not 2 days later. That's when it gets confusing.
Like, I always try to be, like, super specific, like, when I'm telling people about things. But I don't know, that doesn't always happen back. So I, like, wind up confused. I'm like, oh, no. And then I forget to ask, because I'll, like, you know, get caught up in, like, the details of, like, whatever. Like, okay, yeah, like, what time, all that stuff. And then I'll leave and be like, what day?
I hate when people don't use tomorrow, and instead they use, like, all right, I'll see you Wednesday. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. Wait, that's tomorrow.
Yeah, and then tomorrow's
do you mean
Wednesday?
tomorrow?
But do you mean tomorrow or do you mean next Wednesday?
It's so confusing.
Because it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, telling you I'll see you on Wednesday when it's like when it is Tuesday, it's like, yeah, okay, that's correct. But I feel like if you meant tomorrow, you just say tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
Because otherwise it makes you question it.
Yeah. God, why is the English language so confusing?
Like, but what is it that makes you question? Are you questioning that you know what day it is currently and you think you have the wrong day?
No,
or do you
I
think
feel
the
like
thing that's scheduled,
yeah.
you know?
I'm questioning the schedule.
I feel like when that happens, I feel like I question, oh, do they not know what day it is? Like,
yeah,
you know that's tomorrow, right?
Okay, yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. No, usually for me, I'm like, do they mean tomorrow or do they mean
a week
the
from
one
tomorrow?
after? So I don't know. But I didn't even think about that. People, like, maybe the other person doesn't know what day it is.
I mean, but I feel like that's happened where somebody has said, like, I'll see you next Thursday, and Thursday's 2 days away, but they mean the one 9 days away.
Yeah.
Because there's an assumption that the one 2 days away is too soon.
Yeah. Like, that's why I appreciate
Thursday.
the next. I'll be like, yeah. Like, I get that.
No, but you don't have people who say, like, next Thursday when they mean the one that's 9 days away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because then it's not technically the next one. It's Thursday of next week, but the next Thursday is 2 days away.
Oh, I have encountered a lot of people who be like, oh, this coming Thursday. Like, that's why I like that distinction. This coming Thursday versus next Thursday.
No, but I know what you're talking about. Like, some people will say...
Yeah, I've had that experience.
Yeah, it's... yeah, that's confusing.
The world is a confusing place.
Say the date next to it, too.
Yeah, no, that's my thing. I appreciate, like...
22nd.
Yeah. That's the most helpful, I think. Either that or, like, again, just very specific, like, we're doing this tomorrow.
I know. I need the day, the date, the time.
Well, because I always convince myself that I'm remembering something wrong, or that I wrote it down wrong, and I'm like, oh god. Like, what if I show up late, or like, what if they've just been like waiting for me this whole time?
I don't know if this is happening with you two, but and this has definitely happened ever so much more during like quarantine, but not knowing which days it is. Even though I've returned to work and, you know, I have a sense of, all right, I go into work this day and some sort of schedule to my life. I've gone the last 3 Thursdays thinking they're Fridays to the point where I say, oh, yay, it's Friday.
And then someone corrects you.
No, it's not. It's Thursday.
I think it might be worse for me because I'm still very much trying to find a job.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know. That still happens to me. Possibly more than for you guys.
I'm thinking about the thing you said, like, where you don't necessarily trust they know what day it is. I feel like that even happens 2 days out. like if you see someone Thursday and they say, I'll see you Saturday, I'm like, the day after tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
I always do that. And I don't know why. It's like I don't trust them to understand how time works. And I want to be sure that they know it's the day after the next one. And that we agree on that.
Just to confirm, in other words, you mean...
Yep. The queen of follow-up emails. You're looking at her.
That's my limit, though. I tried to think. I was like, 2 days out? No, I wouldn't do that. 2 days after the next day, but one day.
All right.
Okay, time isn't real.
Correct. Time is an illusion.
It's a social construct.
Mm-hmm.
We made everything up. All right. So that's it for assigned questions. Does anyone have anything off the top of their head before I dive into our list of random questions I've just and haven't assigned to a specific episode yet?
I'm thinking of calendar questions.
Yeah, right? Like, every now and again, I'll try to see if something along the same topic kind of comes to mind before I move on.
I was going to say, if I knew I had the opportunity to pose questions, I would have put some thought into it.
Oh. Oops.
I would have tried. I'm not good on the spot, though.
Too bad. Okay, well, if you come up with anything as we're talking. All right, let's see. Should mac and cheese be eaten with a fork or a spoon?
I'm taking it very seriously.
I like that.
Just the other day, I ate mine with a fork and you ate yours with a spoon.
Oh my god, wait, I didn't even notice that.
Wow. So I guess we have our answer.
No, I think it depends on the type of mac and cheese, though.
It does.
Very dependent.
How much sauce is involved?
I am also surprised that you chose a fork for the kind of mac and cheese that we had.
But it's not like overly cheesy.
I don't know. It doesn't feel right.
I feel like you only need a spoon when there's like a lot of cheese sauce. You want to make sure you get that, but maybe because the shells are less stabbable.
Yeah, I don't find shells particularly because when you try and stab them, they suction cup to the bowl.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or I don't know. That's a common problem I've encountered.
I agree. It definitely depends on both the noodle and the cheese. I feel like especially the noodle, though, because not all of them are conducive to spoonware. I mean, what if you had I don't know the names of the noodles, the spinny ones. The bigger one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine trying to grab those guys with a spoon. You're going to get one. You're gonna get
that's not going to work out. And also, as much as I don't like Kraft mac and cheese all that much, I find it very disappointing. That type of, hollow, tube noodle. Very
noodle.
Yeah. There you go. Very satisfying to eat with a fork, because you can put one noodle on each of the little tines.
I would also say that it depends on the mac and cheese vessel. Because what I'm thinking is, with a spoon, if you're eating it with a spoon and your mac and cheese is on a plate...
Yeah, that's weird.
It's going to be really hard to, chase it around and go off the edges, but at least a fork, you can, stab it and get it underneath it better, I feel like.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I hadn't even thought about that.
Because, wow. That's often how I eat my mac and cheese, because I'll have it with something like chicken nuggets, right? Because I put them on the same plate.
This is a call out of us 2 nights ago.
I didn't say the dinosaur-shaped ones.
That's my next question.
Oh, I have no shame in the fact that I regularly...
Yeah, we've eaten dino chicken nuggets together.
I forgot about that. We did. That was a fun night. But yeah, this is what happens when you're in your 20s and also in your 30s. It doesn't change. It's still dino nugs and mac and cheese. Just, sometimes with a White Claw instead of a juice box. Yeah.
We did one.
Ooh, classy.
We did. Classed it up just a teeny tiny bit.
And actually, the Riesling really complemented the Dino Nugs well.
Okay, no, literally.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is a Vine or a TikTok, but I will find it and I will link it. There's this woman who's reading the back of the wine bottle, and she's like, oh, it says barefoot Pinot Grigio pairs great with poultry, so I can have this with my dinosaur chicken nuggets. And I was like, oh my god, it's us. This is a call out directly about us. But yeah.
That's why I think this question is interesting, though, because I imagine, like, every time somebody goes to eat mac and cheese, they sort of do these subconscious mental calculations of what the appropriate vessel and utensil are based on the mac and cheese sauce and noodle shape.
Yeah, because like when we have like a cookout at my house, like in the summer, and my mom makes mac and cheese, it's also like it's like good mac and cheese to eat with a fork because the cheese sauce is very like it really sticks to the noodle because it's all homemade. But we're always putting on like paper plates with like watermelon and burgers and stuff like that, so I always eat it with a fork. But then when I make like Annie's and I put it in a bowl, or if, you know, back when I was living either in a dorm or in my college house and really lazy, a very giant mug, I would always eat it with a spoon. But I never noticed that I was like making that pairing. That's so weird. Wow.
There are so many factors that go into these tough decisions.
Right? Ugh. Alright, what else we got? We're just blowing through questions tonight.
I feel like this would have been a good time to bring back the spork debate. Would that be helpful for eating?
Oh yeah,
mac and cheese.
The last episode, we got not like heated, but we got very into like researching like different types of sporks and like which ones are more spoon and which ones are more fork, and we also found some really weird ones. And also this thing called a splade, which is this like spoon, knife, fork, which I always thought was called a spy fork. I was wrong, apparently. There's a whole Venn diagram illustrating why that is not the case.
Okay.
But yeah, what exactly about the spork are we bringing in, though, is my question.
Like maybe it would be useful for all types of mac and cheese, or more types. So then
maybe
you could stab it and scoop it.
So maybe a spork should be like the universal mac and cheese utensil, so there is no debate anymore.
Perhaps. I still feel like it would depend on the noodle, though, because if you have the big noodles, you'll want more prongs, so therefore...
But then what if you have a fork-dominant spork?
Oh, yeah. That's mostly fork, but a little spoon.
Or like an even like 50, or like a 60-40 type situation? Would that be the perfect utensil for all types of mac and cheese universally?
Last episode...
60 spoon?
Yes, 60 spoon.
Okay.
Yeah, we determined there's different types of sporks.
Including very tiny ones.
The question that comes to mind for me is, like, why don't we have, like, metal sporks that are just, like, common everyday household items? Like, why do people always have separate ones?
Yeah, they're
That's
always
what we were saying.
They're always plastic.
Yeah.
Like, it's always like it's like durable plastic. They're like camping sporks.
I
want a nice, like, metal spork that'll go with my actual dishes.
I need old reliable metal spork where, I don't know.
Yeah, can someone get on that?
Save so much space in the utensil drawer.
Yeah, you could.
Right?
If it's like with the 40-60, that's literally all you need. You need that and a knife. You could have so much more room.
All you need is a splade.
All you need is a splade. Although if it's a metal, I kind of wouldn't want a metal splade because the handle is like, sometimes the handle part is the knife. So I don't think I'd want a metal splade.
It's probably because if they keep the utensils separate, they can charge us more for it.
Oh, did we just uncover a conspiracy?
Like, we could just charge you for the splade, but then that's one set, like, you would get, like, a set of 8, you know, and that would be 8 place settings worth. And
yeah, that's it.
That's it. Instead, 8 place settings worth, they got to sell us 24 utensils instead of 8. Making tons of money. Plus, if you get your fancy set of silverware, they're not going to make, like, fancy sporks.
They should.
They should.
Can someone, one of our, I think maybe 20 listeners, based on my latest look at our analytics, can one of our approximately 10 to 20 listeners get on that and start making some actual fancy sporks and spades.
I'll keep them in business. I'll buy them.
Yeah, no, I'll buy it. Especially since I, hopefully, fingers crossed, might need to get an apartment soon, so I'll need to get actual dishes instead of just novelty mugs and the one square bowl and square plate that my mom got me when I moved out as a joke because she hates square plates, but I was living on my own and it was for me, so she was like, here you go.
Nah, when I move out again, I know I'm still bringing my 2 cups, my 1 plate, hopefully a spade. That'd be a nice addition to the set.
Here's another question I got. Why aren't all disposable utensils just made of bamboo? Like, bamboo chopsticks are the ultimate disposable utensil. Sturdy enough to eat your food with them. Biodegradable. Why don't we just do that with, like, literally everything else? Bamboo grows so fast. It is such a sustainable material. Like, why are we wasting our time trying to make, like, plastic out of, like, corn when we can just make things bamboo?
I think there's just a lot of backroom deals. A lot of people shaking hands in certain industries.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like it definitely has to do with, the money-making thing. Like,
Some kind of lobbying.
What's cheap to produce, probably plastic, and they're not going to maybe want to go for the more eco-friendly option.
I get that. I do get that. But it's one of those things that bothers me. I'm like, why? The perfect solution is right there. We're just choosing not to use it.
Mm-hmm.
Not like we as in, like,
Yeah.
everyone, but the world, business as a whole, is just choosing not to use it. And it annoys me greatly. Alright. What else we got? Unless we have anything else to say on this topic or anything tangentially related. Good?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. I'm trying to find one that isn't too, like, weird, since you have an actual reputation.
Sure.
Well, more than either of us do.
Bridget and I are nobodies. We could say whatever we want.
Yeah.
That's true. I Googled myself once. I didn't like it.
Oh.
Like, that I actually came up,
that you exist to the world.
Like, oh crap, people can see this.
Yeah, people,
I'm a human. They perceive me.
That's why I have this giant flannel on. We are not being perceived today. Yeah. Being perceived 0 out of 10. Continue, Maddie.
Oh, I've Googled myself for fun, and I'm a safe 5 rows down. Like, they're not finding
Does
the
anything
real me.
even come up when you... I want to Google myself now.
I think, like, my picture comes up.
I think the first result when you search my name is my Geneseo faculty page. Not a fan.
There is
yeah.
Bridget Kelly, Kelly, who's a singer. And then there is a Bridget Kelly, Kelley, so literally spelled the exact same way as my name, who is a supervising senior editor of NPR's award-winning afternoon news magazine.
Oh.
And
that's nice.
But other than that... Oh, there's my LinkedIn. So I'm like... 1, 2, 3, 4... I'm 5 down. So, I exist, but I am not the top result, which, at this point in my life, is kind of to be expected. It's not like I'm doing much right now. I do this, and then I play video games from my childhood on my Xbox.
Let me tell you, the reason why it's sort of creepy to have my page come up like that is because this one time I'd gone on like 2 dates with this guy, and he like Googled me and found my office and everything based on the page, and showed up in my office one day.
Okay, ew, no, I hate that.
Yeah, and so now it's like having all that info out there. I'm not a big fan.
I hate absolutely everything about that. That is gross.
Yeah, he didn't seem to understand why it bothered me, but...
Yeah, especially...
How?
Like, who are you? How'd you get in here?
Yep.
People make no sense to me. Like, it's things like that. Like, you can't... Like, if you can't explain it to them, it's like, I don't even know where to begin with, like, what was, like, missing in your socialization just as a human being. Not to, like, dunk on people that are, like, slightly socially awkward or anything. Like, that's a whole different... It's a whole different level of just, like...
Well, there's a difference between, like, appearing in one's house unwelcome or, like, office.
Yeah.
Like, I like, kind of know you, but, like, how and why are you here?
Yeah, no, that's, like... Big oof. Big oof. Big yikes.
Yeah. He specifically came during my office hours, too. He's like, I know these are your office hours. I'm like,
ew! Gross!
Yeah. He did bring scones, though.
Oh. You should have been like, these are my office hours, but do you have an appointment?
Yeah.
Okay. What happened with you is creepy. However, similar situation, maybe after, like, a couple more dates, if you're like, yeah, I'm, like, you know, yeah, I'm a professor, and then they tried to be cute and bring you scones during office hours, theoretically not the worst thing in the world. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I feel like they would have to, like, feel it out, like, oh, do you like surprises, or
Yeah.
maybe hint at it, and some, like, oh, do you get visitors at your office hours? Like, maybe, like, introduce it a little that they're gonna do that.
But that's the thing. I think, like, in general, showing up to someone's place of work uninvited
Yeah.
is problematic.
Okay, yeah, point taken.
Yeah.
Absolutely, like, no defense of this dude whatsoever. That was super, super creepy. I was just, like... Because I'm a person who likes surprises. Like, if I was in, like, a... Like, kind of, like, entering a new relationship and somebody was, like... You know, like, they showed up and they, like... You know, brought me lunch... Like, dropped off lunch for me. I'd be like, oh, that's sweet. But that, like, that's just a me thing. And it would have to be, like, you know... done in a non-creepy way, which is obviously not what happened.
Yeah. Well, I feel like in the workplace it's different too, because, like, you're your professional self there, and you don't always want to mix, like, your personal life with your professional life, and especially if you're in a new relationship, like, you want to definitely, at least for me, I don't know, that could be different
and like, maybe
for others.
And I feel like maybe, like, some type of work, because, like, I think you like, the stuff I want to do, you kind of can't keep your personal life out of it. Like, with a lot of video stuff, like, you're not doing it just as a job, you know? You're not doing it as a 9 to 5. You're doing it because it's something, like, you really, like, you personally really care about. Versus, like, other types of office jobs. Not to, like, imply that, like, anybody here is not caring about their job.
Well, you mentioned video work. Like, I'm just imagining, like, a lot of that is freelance.
Yeah.
So, like, I guess to put it in that scenario, like, what if someone you went on, like, one date with showed up, like, while you were, you know, doing your job? I'm sure.
Yeah, that's mad creepy.
Yeah.
Mad creepy.
Like, you're in the zone doing what you gotta do for your work.
Super
wherever
creepy.
that might be. And there's this person.
No, you know.
It's
That's
very
mad creepy.
jarring.
The thing that's, like, in my mind is, like, if I was, like, you know, starting to maybe seriously date somebody, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna be on this shoot, and, like, you know, it's gonna be a really long day or whatever, and they, like, show up to drop me off lunch? Okay. That's kind of cute.
It's all about context, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, no, oh my god, that's, like, I'm still circling back to that. I cannot... Yikes!
Let me add that he drove 45 minutes.
No, okay, that's so much worse. Like, the scenario...
He can't even say I was in the neighborhood. Like,
the ideal scenario in my head is, like, I was here anyway because I, like, work nearby or whatever, and I just wanted to do something nice. That's I hate it. I hate absolutely everything about it.
But also, like, one of the reasons it was so bothersome was, like, I'm just sitting there at my desk, you know, working away and whatever, and I look up, and he just looks so out of place, you know, because, like, completely separate sections of your life. And it makes me think about how odd it can sometimes be when you have segments of your life that sort of, like, collide, and you didn't realize how separately you thought of them. Like friend groups meeting.
No, oh my god, that's, like,
you know?
kind of similar, like, when I started, like, including some of my, like, study abroad friends and, like, I made, like, a big Maddie, you're in this, I made a big Discord server for, like, all my friends, because I have a bunch of friends scattered in a bunch of different places, and now, like, they're all meeting each other virtually. I'm like, whoa. And, like, it's cool. Everyone's chill, but, like, I'm like, oh my god. This is interesting.
I'm just imagining all the times when I was young and you have, like, I don't know, gatherings for, like, a birthday and you invite all your friends and you kind of act differently around certain friends, just like, not that you're changing yourself for these people, but putting them all together in one room, you have to kind of be the host to all these people and make sure, I don't know, just worlds colliding is what I'd say.
It's always such an interesting experience.
Communication accommodation theory. We adapt our communication to those with whom we're communicating. It's very true, though. It's like the idea of being like a bit of a chameleon. Not that it's like we're changing ourselves, like you said, but
I wonder if anyone's going to start thinking this is like a Geneseo-specific podcast, because everyone here is connected to Geneseo in some way, shape, or form, and we're all communication people. Because I think in almost every episode, Maddie and I have definitely mentioned like either Geneseo or communication or some form of like what we either currently do or want to do.
I don't know if those are all positives, though. Definitely.
There might have been a light roast here and there.
Yeah.
But I'm, like, wondering, I feel like people are going to start being like, is this, like, a Geneseo-specific podcast? Just because we, like, are only, like, reaching into our own personal networks thus far. Because this is such a small, like, still such a small thing. But I don't know. It's not, I promise. We're trying not to make anyone feel excluded.
It's not your fault all the cool people are in and around Geneseo.
Yeah. Sorry, everybody. I like that. Zing. Alright. I think we're, according to my timer, that I actually remembered to set this time because I've done a terrible job of seeing how long our episodes run and attempting to be at least mildly consistent. I think we got time for maybe one or two more, depending on how intense the discussion gets, so unless anyone has anything off the top of their head, or anyone came up with anything during any other conversations, dive into the random unassigned questions once again. Again, trying to keep it not that explicit. I feel like this is very telling of just my sense of humor and the way that I am as a person.
I don't know that it's appropriate to mention another podcast during your podcast.
Oh, I don't care.
But
it's not.
There's a podcast called Hysteria, which is fantastic, and it's all women talking about things that are relevant to women, and it's like focusing on current events.
Mm-hmm.
But they end each episode with a segment that they call Hills Will Die On.
Okay. Love to see it. Love to hear it.
Yeah, a few people each week will pick like the one thing that they are very, very passionate about that is absolutely inconsequential and that nobody agrees with them on. And that's the hill they'll die on. I feel like there's a lot of really good material there.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, it gets heated.
I can imagine. That's my thing. Like, I always try to find, like, arguments that people have done, but, like, I want to be, like not to, like, plagiarize. Like, I want inspiration, not to just, like, copy people, you know? Yeah. I don't know. Maybe inspiration will strike if I do listen to it, so.
It's really good.
Okay, I know you're a person who has strong opinions organizationally, as do I. So, how do you organize your fridge? Like, what goes in which drawer?
They're designated drawers, aren't they? Because you have like the drawer that's like for your meats and cheeses. That's the one that's sort of like toward the middle.
Yeah, it's like the
and
flat.
And the fridge is laid out different. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you have your two like little crisper drawers at the bottom.
Yeah. Are vegetables left or right?
Fruits and veggies. Oh, I don't have. You mean you put fruits in one and veggies in the other?
Yeah.
I mix that shit together. I swear.
Oh no, we swear on here constantly. The only reputation I'm worried about is yours, not ours.
We don't have a rep.
Yeah, we don't have
We're
a
nobodies.
reputation.
For my fridge, I throw my meats and cheeses in with my vegetables on the bottom of the list.
Okay, ew.
I don't have a skinny cold cut drawer, so I just.
What kind of fridge are you got?
It's a Samsung. I keep the majority of my vegetables on the right drawer, and I'll throw my potatoes in on the left side with the cold cuts. And I don't keep fruit in my fridge except for strawberries, which I just throw anywhere.
Okay, here's how we do it at my house. And by extension, this would be me when I get my own place, because again, you know, I graduated during a pandemic, so I am unemployed. But bottom left crisper drawer, vegetables. Bottom right, fruit. And then, like, kind of just, like, random stuff on that shelf that the thin drawer kind of, like, encroaches on. Because really there, it's an odd shape. It's, like, whatever you can fit.
Like jars of things.
Yeah. And then, like, cold cuts, cheese, unless it's, like, a big block that won't fit. Like, if you gotta get a big old block of Parmesan for whatever reason. In the little skinny drawer. And then, like, the top left shelf, the one that's usually, like, the biggest, that's where all, like, big bottles of stuff go. So, like, the Brita pitcher, milk, like, juice. And then things like sauces and whatnot on the door. The little butter thingy. And my mom has, like, this little plastic container for eggs that, for some reason, we don't put them in the just the cardboard container that they come in.
Oh.
I don't know why. We have our special little egg container.
I definitely keep my eggs in the carton because whenever we put them in bowls if they're hard boiled and just like keep them there.
Yeah.
My sister messed it up the other day. Like
wait.
always
bowl in the fridge though, right?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, in the fridge. But my sister, I was just thinking of this. I grabbed this egg in a bowl. I'm like, oh great, it's already hard boiled. Crack it and then it gets all over me and like messed up the system.
Bad.
I, like many adults, buy many fruits and vegetables thinking I'm a grown person. Like, I'm going to eat these healthy things. I'm going to use all these things.
No, and then it's dino
But then you don't. So what I do is, think about the bottom drawers, that when I buy fresh, like, fruits and veggies, I'll put them in the left-hand drawer because that's more easily accessible because the door opens, this way. So it's... Mm-hmm. But when they start to get to the point where they're questionable, like, should I eat these or not? I don't want to eat them because they're questionable, but I also don't want to throw them out because it makes me feel like a horrible adult, like a horrible person. Mm-hmm. So I shift them to the right-hand drawer until they're no longer questionable and are clearly inedible, at which point I throw them away and then repeat the process.
That's kind of fun. It's a fun system.
Yeah.
There's a whole rotation going.
Yeah, that's why I mix the fruits and veggies together, because I gotta have...
Yeah, you gotta have what's good with what else is good.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
I get
the things that could be eaten. Yeah, and then here's the stuff that I feel guilty throwing away yet, but I'm definitely not eating it.
Okay, makes sense.
Honestly, though, like, whenever I buy kale, it's just a death sentence for it. Like, it's gonna die in there. No one's eating that.
The only way I will consume kale if it's like it's being mixed into a smoothie with a bunch of fruit, because I think it's so gross. Like, I know it's good for you, but like texture wise, flavor wise, bad. So bad. Only in a smoothie. And you also know this about me. The only acceptable way to eat spinach is raw. Cooked spinach is disgusting.
I love it.
Ew, it's just like mushy and gross.
No, so good.
I don't know. I have a lot of texture sensitivities.
Bridget, I feel like we disagree on like what tastes good. Like, we're eating completely different things.
I don't have to take this from someone who puts pineapple on pizza.
It's good. You don't drink coffee.
Yeah, because I'm bitter enough as it is.
It's a sin.
You drink black coffee, which is absolutely terrifying to me because you have the personality of a Disney princess. And those two things just don't mesh in my mind.
I need balance in my life.
I dig it. Okay. I think we're coming up on about an hour here, so I think we're going to call it for our first episode with a guest ever. We are all available to follow on Twitter at BridgetKelly98, at MR5MAR, and at And Sarah Said. So, follow us there. The podcast is available to stream on Anchor, Spotify, Overcast, a bunch of other podcasting sites. I think it's being distributed to like 7 now, which is great. And we're also available to watch on YouTube. And we will be back next week, possibly with another guest. Gotta see if some schedules line up. So, fingers crossed. All right. Bye.
Bye.